The release of Bloons Adventure Time 6 was a big deal for BTD history, as it was a fully 3D game with tons of new features previously unseen in other Bloons games. This is also easily the most successful version of Bloons as far as social media presence goes. However, did you know that there was another Bloons game released at about the same time? The game I'm referring to is Bloons Adventure Time TD. For those who may not be aware, Adventure Time was a Cartoon Network show between April 2010 and September 2018. It was and still is regarded as one of the best cartoons of its era, and was no stranger to video games within its runtime. I mean, it'd be pretty hard to be when one of your most beloved characters is a living video game console. And as some of you may know, this is not the first time they've crossed over with a video game. But now, you might be wondering, Taiga, what is this game? Is this real? Why haven't I heard of this before? I'd be shocked if you actually have heard of this game before, because not only has it been practically ignored by many Bloons YouTubers, it's also completely overshadowed by the fact that BTD6 only released a month before this game, and as well the fact that the show that it's based on ended a month after the release of the game. So this game was kind of destined to be ignored considering its release time. However, this isn't the only point of this video, because today I want to explore what this game was, and is it actually any good?
All I wanted was a princess to love, and now you've ruined it. Why can't I just be happy?
Now, my first impression upon launch is, well, you can tell that Ninja Kiwi wasn't the greatest at 3D when they were making this game. I can tell they tried to emulate the outlines that's usually present on the 2D versions of these characters, but they just really didn't do it right. It constantly looks like they're clipping into their own models when they actually aren't. But other than that, the Land of Ooh looks fine. So does the maps, except for all the models, okay. I could be nitpicking all day at how these 3D models look and how they're so jagged and weird, but let me just say that it isn't a great first impression at all. It doesn't help that most of the voice actors sound like they didn't even really want to be here.
Now you're gonna help clean this mess up.
Those balloons have nothing to do with me. Wait, what? You want me to help you? You mean like a team? You're right, it's all my fault. Let's go, team! Alright.
I especially feel bad for Tom Kenny, because at this point he'd probably been forced to work on Nickelodeon for about 2 years on SpongeBob, and now his voice just kinda gives off the vibe that he's being forced at gunpoint to record these lines, or else Nickelodeon will personally send him to hell. Well, okay, but what about the gameplay? Well, the gameplay is just serviceable. You start with 4 towers, those being Finn, a close-ranged melee character, Jake, another close-ranged melee character, Max, a ranged dart monkey that kinda does normal dart monkey stuff, and Princess Bubblegum, a ranged gum-shooting tower that, alongside DPS, also buffs other towers, kind of. It's honestly pretty average gameplay for a Bloons game, especially as you unlock new characters and their allies, and in saying that you may be wondering what allies are. Well, each time you complete a stage, you unlock gift orbs. Gift orbs essentially give you trinkets, allies, and weapons to use on your characters for various buffs and new towers. For example, on Max the Monkey, I have Dart Monkeys equipped so I can put up to 3 on them down as an ally. On Princess Bubblegum, I have a tank to give her extra pierce, and Jake the Dog has Ice Cream that gives him attack speed. This is, to my knowledge, only something we really see in BTD Adventure Time, and I think it's kind of neat. There's hundreds of possibilities with these, but I'll be honest, I never really got to experience this because, well, we'll get to that. The maps in this game are pretty well designed, and some even have their own gimmick, like, for example, the Candy Graveyard and its zombie balloons, and Lemon Grab's castle having his torture room light up at various times to stun your towers. And a little fun fact for you, Lemon Grab having a torture room is actually a reference to how his voice actor beats his wife. The way you unlock characters and maps is by playing in the area that they reside in and sorta doing a gauntlet kind of thing worth of maps. This however has a limitation though. This bit is my next big problem with the game actually. Some characters require real-life payment to unlock. Yeah, you can't just buy these guys with in-game currency or beat a certain map to unlock them, you simply have to buy them. I find this pretty frustrating myself. There's actually a lot of microtransactions within this game, in fact, which makes sense considering this was a mobile game at launch, just as the same as BTD6 was also a mobile game upon launch. Not only is it frustrating that some characters are locked behind a paywall, the other microtransactions are just as predatory. You see, the aforementioned trinkets and allies are complete RNG to unlock. If you want more per role, you need to use one of the 3 in-game currencies to unlock the other roles, when you receive this game's version of a loot box, that is. If you don't have that currency, you can conveniently, heavy quotations, just buy more with real money. You can probably see where this is going. This game has a very clear case of mobile game sickness, and it's not even really that hard to notice. In fact, this being a mobile game explains why this game is so railroady with where you can play the next game and who you're supposed to unlock next, because like most mobile games, it's basically just made for young kids who are gonna beg their parents when they inevitably run into a microtransaction. Also, about that railroading bit, unlike BTD6 where you could basically hop map to map, in this game, you're basically forced to simply go from area 1, 2, 3, etc. with little choice in the matter. It's for sure not like a BTD game, but in a kind of a bad way, because in this way, it honestly just feels like I'm playing a game for young children. And I'll be honest, everything I've mentioned combined honestly just made me lose complete interest into playing this game very quickly after beginning it, because, well, it's just not fun. If I wanted to play a Bloons Tower Defense game, I would just go do Bloons Tower Defense 6, 5, I would even go as far to say Battles 2, because at the very least, I don't feel like I'm restricted and have to pay for things when I'm playing Battles 2. And if you just like the aesthetic of Adventure Time, just go watch the show. It is unironically one of my favorite shows I have ever watched, and if you have never actually watched it before, I would highly recommend it. Like right now, I'm in the middle of season 5, and the episodes A Glitch and a Glitch and James Baxter are unironically some of the best TV episodes I've watched just in general. I thought they were amazing, especially the animation on A Glitch and a Glitch. It was very fun. It almost kind of reminds me of YouTube Poop, if anyone remembers what that is. Now, I will admit, this kind of turned into more of a rant than a review towards the end here, but I'm sorry to say, this game just really isn't that great. I mean, for what it is at least. It's of course a pretty decent game because of course it's a Bloons game, and it has one of my favorite all-time shows on it, although I will say the branding didn't even really carry it because this game had, like, at max 300 players. Now obviously, I'm just a guy on the internet, so if you want to check this game out anyway, honestly, just go ahead. But as you can tell, I'm personally none too pleased with this game. And personally, I would just recommend just playing BTD6 and then watching Adventure Time to get pretty much the same effect, if not better. But with that said, I do hope you enjoyed this video in some form, and maybe you even found a new game that you'll like for a little bit. And since I just entertained you, you could return the favor by liking the video and potentially subscribing to thine channel because, well, it'd be cool. However, with that said, I shall bid you all a well.